Hello, everybody. This is TJ from New Zealand Mysteries. Thanks for coming along. This is a bit of an experiment live stream. Kind of what we're doing for the first time ever is we are live on YouTube and we're also live on my Facebook page, New Zealand Mysteries. Generally, I use the Facebook page for cases around New Zealand and to keep them up to date with that. And usually I leave the live streams to talk about cases around America, ones that are in the spotlight and other cases. So I've kind of brought this together and I'm not quite sure how it's going to go, but we're going to give it a shot anyway. So we've got a few things to go through today. I've got a bit of an update on a young girl that's been missing in New Zealand for over 20 years. We're just going to read a little bit about her. I then want to go into the county coroner and go through his report. And we know that Gabby was strangled now, but some interesting stuff came out in the report, so we'll listen to that. And then we've got a couple of cases that we are looking at, just random cases of people that are missing, and we're going to go look into that as well. So apparently I can get in front of me on StreamYard, I can get comments from both Facebook and YouTube, so that'll be cool. I don't know if I'll do this again. It was very expensive to be able to get to do this, but that's all right. Julie, hi, honey, welcome. So the rules are really simple. Be kind, do not be rude or disrespectful. If someone is annoying you, block them. They've got 3 little dots next to their name, and if you press those, you can block them. Don't mention other creators. It stirs shit up, and don't be a dick. So I think that I don't know how to get that down. I think that's pretty easy. Hide. Oh, look, I've done it. And I'm not saying I'm very technical either, so we may have things that go a bit awry, but that's okay. So first, welcome to everybody coming in. There is a case I want to go over. Reward brings no answers about missing toddler Amber Lee Cruikshank. She went missing in Southland in a town called Kingston. Her parents were in a bus and they stopped to talk to some people or stay with some people, and she was taken, and there's been nothing for all over 20 years, absolutely nothing. Lately, the police put out $100,000 reward for this young girl for tips. Apparently, it hasn't actually brung anything in. I do know that I got a few tips and handed them in to the police. So let's have a little look. Nicola Cruikshank thought her long nightmare would be coming to an end. Sunday will mark 29 years since her toddler Amber Lee Cruikshank went missing at a Cornwall Street property in Kingston at the southern end of Lake Wakatipu. So this is sort of Central Otago area. In April this year, police announced a $100,000 reward for information or evidence leading to the identity and conviction of anyone responsible for the 2-year-old's disappearance. Autumn Falls, hey, great to have you here. Cruikshank hoped the lure of a big payout would finally draw out someone with information. But as the reward period comes to a close today, Nicola Cruikshank, 53, who now lives in Christchurch, was feeling deflated and exhausted. She said, "It's quite depressing, really. I honestly thought that someone would come forward. We're still no closer to the truth or to finding her. It's quite devastating." For her, the reward offer felt like a last chance for new information. Police said about 75 phone calls were received from members of the public during the reward period. Cruikshank said that blew her away. "I can't understand why it's taken a $100,000 reward and 29 years for people to come forward with the information. Why didn't they come forward a hell of a long time ago?" Some of the information provided during the reward period had not only been wrong, it had been harmful. Someone had sent her photos of 2 girls who were supposedly Amber Lee growing up. The police had interviewed at least one of them, and she was definitely not the missing girl. She's quite distraught by the accusation. She says, we've had a few funny things to deal with over the past 6 months. It's hard to fathom that someone could even do that. But it was not much different from the past 3 decades, she said. There had always been rumours, and they had always turned out to be false leads. Police declined to be interviewed about the case this week. In a statement, Detective Inspector Stu Harvey said the investigation team was completing inquiries in regards to the information that had been supplied. Due to the ongoing nature of the inquiry, police are unable to comment on specifics in regards to the information received. Despite the reward period ending, it could be revisited if any member of the public had any further information on the case that would lead to an arrest. Police would not comment on whether any reward money had been paid out. Meanwhile, on Sunday, Crookshank will light a candle for her daughter, as she always does on the anniversary of her disappearance. She has never given up hope, but she does not know what else she can do. She says, I just want to know where she is so I can bring her home. She was only 2.5 years of age. Whatever happened, she didn't deserve it. And I sure as hell don't feel me and my family deserve this nightmare. Extremely, extremely sad. 29 years. It's gone past really, really quickly. And there's just nothing. There's just never been anything. Julie says, I always hope that through DNA being put into places like Ancestry, GEDmatch helps all those cases. I recently got matched with a blood cousin. After 40 years, I finally have answers. Oh, wow, that's pretty cool. GEDmatch is doing a lot of good things, and there's a lot of people that are finding that they have family members, but they're also finding that they have killers amongst them as well. So it's a good thing, but it's a bad thing as well. Now, the reason I decided to bring Facebook into the live today, because Facebook, my Facebook family are fantastic. I usually post information about people that are missing or unsolved cases in New Zealand, and the Facebook group will share them for me, get them out there. I'll also often pay my own money to boost posts so that they can be seen by hundreds more people, and to try and find answers. When I mentioned Gabby Petito on Facebook a couple of days ago, the post went wild. There was like hundreds and hundreds of comments. So it's obvious that people from the Facebook page do actually are interested in cases that are not in New Zealand. So Autumn Falls, Julie Poppy, it's great to have you girls. What I'm going to do is go through the coroner's autopsy results. Have you girls seen this? The reason I want to go through it is there's a few things. So I'm going to press play in a minute, and I wonder if you can tell me whether you can hear it okay.
Or anthropologist and local law enforcement with assistance from the FBI. The Teton County Coroner's Office is following the following verdict. In the manner of death of Gabrielle Lenora Petito,
can you hear that?
We find the cause and manner to be caused death by strangulation, and manner is homicide. By Wyoming state statute, only the cause and manner of death are released. Their autopsy findings and photographs and that sort of material is not released by state statute. And I'll be glad to entertain some questions at this time.
Hi, Brian. This is Alex with the News and Guide. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm curious whether you're able to pinpoint a date of death and when, and if you.
Oh, don't do that. Do not fear. I wondered if I'd have trouble because I've got so much shit open. Give it a minute, hopefully.
Date of death and when, and if you.
Poo. Okay, I might not be able to play this, but let's have a bit of a discussion on what came out in that. So, what did we get out of the autopsy? The cause of death was strangulation by throttling, which is with your hands. I think on the last live, I said it wouldn't be a big stretch for him to strangle her, especially if he's already done it like this on her face, you know. But it just makes it a bit sadder when you do know. A couple of interesting things. People were asking questions and about how the body what condition the body was in, and he said a couple of times that the body has been now 3 to 4 weeks in the elements, and I think that's what he meant when he said that. He's sort of telling what sort of description of the body and what it was in, type it was in, you know what I mean. I'm getting tongue-tied. On the rocks, welcome. So he said that. Now, the funniest thing happened. John Walsh actually asked a couple of questions, and they were questions that the coroner cannot answer. And he had no law enforcement around him as you know, as he was telling everyone what was happening. But John Walsh asked some weird questions, and he should have known that the coroner couldn't answer them. So they were something like, now do you believe that it was Brian that killed her, something along those lines. And it just, the questions didn't seem appropriate, or they seemed a bit weird. So I'm not sure what happened with John Walsh. We also found out that they have DNA. We're hoping they have DNA underneath her fingernails. People say, of course, there's going to be DNA because they live together, but I'm thinking they'll be looking for DNA under the cuticles. And we know that fits in because the FBI only a week or so ago went to the laundry's house to get DNA. They said it was for the dogs, but yeah, they did get DNA. Okay, what do we got? Julie says, I think John was putting his point out there again. Yes. He's getting old. He looks old. I've seen him, and he looks really old. Annie says, I cringed when John Walsh asked those questions. Yes, he of all people should know not to ask the coroner that. Yeah, the questions were for law enforcement. They definitely weren't for a coroner. He should know that. While we're talking about John Walsh, he is on ID Discovery tonight at 9 p.m. I'm not sure what time it is for you guys over there. Yeah, so take a look at that. Hey, Pam, good to see you. Julie, hi, from Facebook. We are just sort of talking about Gabby Petito at the moment and the autopsy and things like that, going over a few things. I went to, do you know, I always think Brian Enton, he is a reporter who's been on the case, and I'm going to look at some things that he said. Autumn Falls says the coroner was very careful in what he said, didn't say for sure. So we don't know if Gabby fought to live. Strangulation can be a quick death, so she may not have had a chance. From what I know, strangulation actually takes quite a few minutes. I think in the first few seconds, you can render someone unconscious, but it is like 4 to 6 minutes to actually make sure that they're dead, which is just horrible to think of. He also said, the coroner also let out a slip. I think he meant to not say something, but he said something about domestic violence, that she was the victim of domestic violence. And that just sort of, I think, hung Brian out to dry a bit. And I don't think he was supposed to say that. Yes, sorry, that is what I meant. She would have had a chance to fight back. Well, hopefully we'll know whether she tried to fight back if they get his skin under her nails. It's a shame that we never seen him when he came back to Northport, because we couldn't see if he had scratched faces or a scratched neck or anything. But she would have fought. Pam says he did say domestic homicide. It takes at least 3.5 minutes. Yeah, so it does take a little while. It's not something that's real quick. A couple of things happened afterwards. I'm just but I know that the I know that the lawyer said something. What was really interesting was apparently in there on the Zoom call, because they were asking questions, someone or a few people, like that 4 people, were saying they were Brian Enton, and it wasn't him, and they were asking questions. So that's a bit weird. I'm just looking for what the lawyer said, because he's a dick. The lawyer's a dick. Go back. Okay, so the Laundrie family lawyer, I've lost it again. I told you I'm not that good at this. Now you believe me. Okay. Laundrie family attorney, Mr. Bertolino, just texted. And this is funny because he texted Brian Enton, the reporter. And what's been happening is the lawyer, when people have texted the lawyer and asked him questions, then he's put out a statement. But this time he just randomly sent out a text statement after the coroner's report. And it said, Laundrie family attorney Mr. Bertolino just texted. He said, Gabby Petito's death at such a young age is a tragedy. While Brian Laundrie is currently charged with the unauthorized use of a debit card belonging to Gabby, Brian is only considered a person of interest in relation to Gabby Petito's demise. At this time, Brian is still missing, and when he is located, we will address the pending fraud charge against him. So, yeah, wow. Hey, Kimberly, welcome. Julie said it was good they did a full body scan. It may be difficult to get much else from her body because she was so decomposed. They use a forensic entomologist. Yes, he mentioned that they had to use a few tools due to the body being out there so long. And he says, I was in a strangulation murder case in court just watching, and experts said at least 4 minutes to strangle someone to death. When you set your timer, it's a very long time. It is. It's very scary. The person will also go unconscious and limp quite quickly, so no case for accidental or self-defense cases. It's easy. This is from Autumn. It's easy to make someone lose consciousness, so he had to consciously keep his hands there to kill her. That speaks to more than him flying into a rage. He is not missing. The first has classified him as a fugitive. So what did you think about what the lawyer said? I thought it was rude for some reason. Yeah, I thought it was really rude. Another thing that happened last night in the Laundrie's area is a lot of people received letters in the mail about the Laundrie family. It basically said, here's $20 because I know you're having to put up with a lot of shit living next door to the laundries, and there was $20 in them. I'm not sure how many people got the letter or anything like that. I just know that they received a letter, and the FBI has gone and picked all those up. But that's really weird. T-Rex Pam, it's very painful when you can't breathe. I had congestive heart failure. It's the worst thing. Sorry, Pam. Hope you're all right. T-Rex, I think the lawyer is a piece of shit. Yeah, that's mine as well. Kimberly says the lawyer sounded cold-hearted. He sure did. He did. He didn't even wait until the press release was over. Yeah, it's weird. He just... Autumns, do you want me to read the lawyer's comments again? Okay. Gabby Petito's death at such a young age is a tragedy. While Brian Laundrie is currently charged with unauthorized use of a debit card belonging to Gabby, Brian is only considered a person of interest in relation to Gabby Petito's demise. At this time, Brian is still missing, and when he is located, we will address the pending fraud charge against him. So sounds very, very cold. And I heard that Gabby's mum actually posted something just in her disgust, really, in this. Terrible way to die. Yeah. Sounds just like a lawyer to me. The interesting thing is this lawyer has been their lawyer for years and years and years. They even flip houses with him, so they've got quite a personal relationship. And I think that's why when it first started, they were able to get a lawyer so quickly. The thing is, this lawyer is a real estate lawyer. So what it needs is a criminal attorney, not a real estate lawyer. So at some stage, they're going to have to find another lawyer. I just hope that they don't get Jose Baez, because he got Casey Anthony off, and we don't want that happening here. Annie says, the lawyer is a loser. Cringe. My favourite thing today was watching Mr. Laundrie mowing the lawn, finally, with Brian Enton trying to ask him questions. Yeah, the lawn was getting long, and I think that they got told that they had to mow their lawns because they were getting a bit long. She rightfully was upset with the lawyer. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I feel like this lawyer doesn't know what he's doing either. They're going to have to get someone better, because this guy's a bit of a joke. Well, in my opinion, come for me, it's my opinion. So is there any other things we want to talk about on the Gabby Petito case? So we know strangulation was it. We talked about the letters that the neighbours got. Actually, late last night, I think it was on Brian Enton's channel. I'm not sure who was covering it, but really late last night, there was some guy at the laundry banging the door really, really loud and waiting for them to come out. Of course, they didn't come out. I'd like to get my hands on any of the 4 of them and wrap them around their throats with no mercy. I know, but we're not going to endorse any violence on this channel. The family needs to be arrested. Depends. I mean, when Chris Laundrie went out to the reserve to search, does that make him he was helping? Does that make any difference? Because he was showing that he was helping, even though he was out there for just one day. Does that show that they're cooperating? It was said that they had been cooperating with the FBI. The FBI said that they can't go and search, but then they wanted him for that one day. So does that mean that he now are being seen as cooperating with the FBI, with the feds? I know they just need to understand what it feels like. They just seem so cold and selfish. Well, they do. They do. And they're making it worse for themselves. Absolutely. And then, you think about the head run, or the run they have given this guy so he can get away. They've given him so much time to get away. And with that car found in the reserve, it could have been a red herring. He could have got someone else to pick him up and go somewhere else. Or, yeah, he might not have gone into that park at all. So we don't know. I think they would have totally different outlook if they had to go just 2 minutes without air. Yeah. And he says, I hope at night now they have images of Brian doing that to Gabby and they can't sleep. Or he may be seen as hindering if it didn't admit that Brian was never there. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know what's going to happen next. I was thinking, he's been out there a month. How is he supporting himself in a month? I think he has to have support from somewhere. He has to have people to help him. Or he's got a lot of money and he's getting food and something from somewhere. But I really reckon that he's in a house held up somewhere. There was said that if he made it to New York, the real estate lawyer would have houses for him to hide in. But I think he'd get a lot of trouble if they did that. They're cautious. They have no images or nightmares like we do. No conscience, I think you meant. Autumnfall says, I agree, TJ, he can't be surviving alone. I cry for her. Oh, Pam, you're such a sensitive soul. Annie says, my worry is that he's hanging in the woods somewhere far away and no one will ever find him. Well, I mean, that is possible. Either he's that or he's somewhere, and I bet if he's alive that he has ways to hear the news, and he has ways to see what's going on. He has ways to see what the police are thinking and where they're searching. And he also has ways to realize how much he is putting his family through. His sister Cassie and her kids and his parents. This is all happening because of him. And that's a real selfish dude that could see this happening to his family and not turn himself in. I think it's really disgusting and shows his personality. Pam Smith says, oh no, Mummy is catering to his every need. But she can't be catering to his every need like directly, because she can't go anywhere with all the eyes on her in Florida. She can't go anywhere. So it can't be her that's helping him directly. There's got to be someone else involved. He's a coward. He ain't dead. Yeah, we don't know. I don't see him killing himself, to be honest. Depends. I mean, we just don't know too much of his personality and that to say that. I don't know. Julie says, I don't think he has the thought patterns of a normal person. No, I don't think he's a normal person. He's a monster. I thought he wouldn't kill himself also, but then he's such a coward that would be the easy way out at that point. Pam says, nope, but where there's a will, there's a way, and she's paying someone. That's what I wonder, if she's paying someone to help, but not doing it directly. I think they could have other family doing it for them. Absolutely. Now, one of the things I just wanted to do, and I've got to find out where I did it. This is basically for the Kiwis, to be honest, because we don't know shit about America. You've got so much going on there. So, add to stream. Okay, we've got America. Okay, so Northport, Florida is here on this red dot, so you know where that is. When I put in the Appalachian Mountains or the Appalachian Trail, it just gave me a dot, I think. So that dot really doesn't help you. Oh, here we go. Maybe all these people in red are on the Appalachian Trail. Could be. So just trying to show, yeah. And then I found this, and I just wanted to share. This is from Wikipedia, but there was a piece of it that said where it goes. I just can't find it, but it goes through a lot of states. It goes through heaps of states, and someone said that he had already survived the Appalachian Trail. He'd been there for a couple of months, and he's a survivalist, and if he can last on this trail for a couple of months, then we know he's pretty good. But Cassie said in her interview that he's only done it a week at a time. So, two conflicting stories. Kimberly says, I think that was the plan when the family went camping. Yeah. Well, the reason why they went camping was A, to get out of the house in case it was bugged, and 2, to go and figure out how they're going to get their precious son away. Yeah. That trail is huge. Yeah, it looks huge. It takes days to hike it all, I believe. There's probably only one way. From what I've heard is like you can come out of it at lots of little places, and there's shops and stuff like that. So that's what I've heard. I'm not a great person to say because I obviously have never been there. Autumn says, does the trail have stop points where there's food, showers, etc., or do you have to do the whole thing with what you have on your back? Yeah, like I was just saying, I'm pretty sure there's stop points along the trail because it spans over so many states as well, and people can come down off it and get supplies and food and whatever else they need and then go back up. Autumn, I heard some survivalists say that you can go in and out of it. What TJ said. Yeah, what I said. So, okay, it would be easier for him to get supplies, but he may be saying, well, it will be easier for him to get supplies, but even if he probably have a hat on, he's probably got a mask on, he could even chuck in some sunglasses, you never know. But there's so many eyes looking out for him on that trail, so many that I reckon if someone seen him, they would ring up I reckon how he's going to get caught is he's going to be seen by somebody, and they're going to call the FBI, and that's how I reckon it's going to get solved. Just my opinion. Pam says if he's in the Appalachian Trail, there are stopping points, but there are places where people meet for supplies too. All right. Julie says there are huts and lots of access to everything, and they use pseudonyms, not real names. On the rocks and in the soil, I'm quite sure he's out of the country long ago. What makes you say that, and what country do you think he's gone to? Let us know. Because I wonder how easy it is to get into another country from the US. I mean, I'm thinking Mexico and I'm thinking Canada. With COVID, are you allowed to go between countries? How easy is it? Did he have to give his ID? Or could he get across borders with no ID? On the rocks, if you have any information about that, let us know. T-Rex, Pam. A friend of mine grew up hiking in the trail in the Tennessee parks. Someone said so easy to book a long-term Airbnb type place with no contact with anyone and can get delivery supplies also. Oh, okay, Annie. If he got delivery supplies, if he was in a hut and got delivery supplies, they wouldn't have to see him. They could just leave them at the door, I guess. Like when they bring my dinner. Pam says that I live close to the foothills of the WV. What's WV? Talking to a Kiwi. Maybe like a cabin in the woods. On the rocks, no extradition, South America. So you reckon if he got to South America, that there's no extradition treaty between US and South America, so he couldn't be extradited back. Is that what you mean? Autumn says it's closed for people going to the US, but partially open for people going US to Canada, but you do have to show ID. Okay, interesting. Froze Moments. I live in an Appalachian Trail supply town. Nice to see you. Can you tell us how often people can come down off the Appalachian Trail and how do they get supplies? That'd be really cool. WV is West Virginia. I knew that. In the back of my head, I knew that. If he is in Tennessee, it's our busiest time of the year in the Smoky Mountains. He will be spotted. I'm wondering, I don't know where I've seen it, but I heard there was going to be a lot of snow on some parts of the Appalachian Trail coming soon. If anyone else has heard that, let me know. Is it cold up there? Do you get snow on these mountains? Canada is very strict right now with COVID. Right. There's always a way, or the people smugglers wouldn't get away with so many. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But he'd have to come into contact with these sort of people if he wanted them to get him across the border or whatever. If he went into Mexico, he's going to stick out like a sore thumb. He's not going to know the language. He's going to be this baldo white guy with his duck feet. And there are people that will turn them in for money, I'm sure. So, yeah, I don't know. Sorry. Trying to get to the chat. Every day there's a hostel right off the trail with shuttles to take them. Oh, okay. Interesting. Pam said, in theory, but it depends on how you cross, driving versus plane, and it's more hard in theory than in practice. I've known several people who've crossed recently with no issues. Okay. Julie says, yes, snow. So, yeah, I heard right, there's snow coming. So, if he is on the Appalachian Trail, he might be getting very, very cold. On the Rocks says, no idea. Check crossing into Mexico from there. Not all borders well guarded. Right. However, they were all Canadians coming back to Canada, so it might be harder for an American to come back. Yeah, we just don't know, do we? Always lots of snow starting November in the Appalachians. Oh, okay. And he says, until he's found, I guess, FBI will be watching Chris and Roberta like a hawk. Yeah, and the reporters. I don't think that they're going to be going anywhere without reporters following them. And hopefully the police this time, since they mucked up. Have to see where they go for Christmas holidays. Yeah, that's interesting. Where do they go? Do they go to Fort DeSoto again, or do they choose another campground where people don't know? Froze moments. Irwin, Tennessee, close to where he was supposedly sighted a few weeks ago. Okay. We can hope the cartel has him. Yeah, that maybe if he goes to Mexico, they just might. They just might. Pam says lots unused and unmounted cabins in the Mo Mountains. Brains at this time too. I don't know if I got all that. I'm not sure. This is Autumn Falls. I'm not sure about all the border crossings around there, but I've crossed at Niagara Falls, and it's a super busy crossing. Not sure if there are many small crossings out in Eastern Canada. Canada, I just said. Mountains this time of year. Sorry, fat fingers. That's all right, honey. I've got fat fingers too. Horrible on cell phones when you've got fat fingers. So I feel your pain. Look, like I was saying at the beginning, I'm doing a crossover on Facebook and YouTube. It's basically a bit of a test. I paid a bit of money to get this to happen. I'd like to see both interacting. If it's not a thing, then I won't do it again. But yeah. Empty cabins this time of year. Right. Okay, last time we spoke, ladies, we had a bit of a homework mission. Oh, hang on, I'll just have to show this. Autumn says, I'm not sure about all the border crossings around there, but I've crossed at Niagara Falls and it's super busy crossing. Not sure if there are any small crossings out in Eastern Canada. Right. Thank you, Autumn. So, yeah, I gave you guys a bit of a homework. We decided that we can't just talk about Gabby and Dick Head Brian all the time. There is so many other cases out there that need to be talked about that we're going to do some investigating. So let's have a look. Annie says, last time I was on here, someone said something about the guy, hiker, who said he thought he saw Brian, that the actual guy in the white truck came forward. I hadn't heard that, but seems not true. Oh, okay. The FBI interviewed the hiker last week for 45 minutes and took him very seriously. Yep, that's what I heard too. Corey, welcome. Good to see you from Facebook. Kimberly says, our cabins here get really full in the Smoky Mountains. People come from all over to see the leaves change. I bet it was, yeah. Okay, so Autumn Falls says, I found it hard to find out anything about Jasmine. Well, we've got a few things here that we'll have a look at. So this is the first person that we decided as a team to look into, and this is the Charlie Project, and this is a young lady called Jasmine Lina Alfreda Moore. And unfortunately on the Charlie Project you cannot click on the the images and make them bigger. So I'll read out what we've got here anyway. She was missing since 10th of March 2020 from Chesterfield, Virginia. Sex, she's a female, obviously. black, 24. She's 5'8" and 180 pounds. I'm not sure what 180 pounds means to us Kiwis and kilograms. Distinguishing characteristics: African American female, black hair, brown eyes. Moore has a tattoo of the name Quincy above the name Elijah on the left side of her chest. Her tongue and ears are pierced. Her bottom lip and nose are also pierced on the right side, but she wasn't wearing jewelry in those piercings at the time of her disappearance. So, Autumn, you said it was hard to find anything about her. I found a little bit, but yeah, not a lot. So down below, this is the number to call if you have any information about Jasmine. So details. Moore was last seen leaving her residence in the 2100 block of Rowanty Court at 10:40 p.m. on October 3rd, 2020. She has never been heard from again. On October 5th, her black Ford Taurus was found on the northbound on-ramp of Interstate 95 near exit 45 in the Prince George County, Virginia. A photo of the car is posted with this case summary. Moore left behind 2 children and few details are about the case. 61 kilos. Yes, she is pretty, Corey. She's very... Julie says Jasmine's car was found near a Christian service centre like a food bank, so that may be a lead, but still not a lot of info about why she would be going there. Yes, she had 2 kids, which was very, very sad. Hey, little Pookie, awesome to see you. After she went missing, they found her car on a ramp. 26 miles from home, Corey says. Okay, so let's look at going over to NamUs, and I found her over here. It says much of the same things about what she looked like. Last seen on October the 3rd, 2020. It just goes on about her piercings. There's a couple of photos that you can actually bring up these photos and have a better look. She was really beautiful. That's a good one. Okay, and it's got contacts. Then I found this WTVR.com, and there's a couple of things here that I want to look into. What have you got here? What is it? I'm in trouble just getting. So Annie Hall says after she went missing, they found her car on ramp. Keys were not in the vehicle. Julie Poppy says it really sounds more like an opportune people trafficking case. Autumn says, I don't think they even say who saw her leave the house and how she went missing. We'll read a couple of articles in a minute. I wonder if her car had been damaged by another car. Good question. Corey says it heads to old folks' home and detention centre. Okay. Right, let's look into this. This is by WTVR.com. Jasmine Moore, Virginia mum, missing for 1 year, disappeared without a trace, family says. Her mum says, some days I feel like I can't breathe because I wake up in panics. It's hell, which is just awful. Near a pavilion at Eastside Community Park, a grill smoked balloons bounced in the wind, and pictures of Jasmine Moore sat near party decorations and cupcakes. Family and friends of the 24-year-old gathered Sunday to love on each other and remind the world that it has been 1 year since Moore was seen. It's just like she disappeared without a trace. Some days I feel like I can't breathe because I wake up in panics and I can see her face. It's crazy, but it's been hell, said her mother, Lucinda. And it makes me really sad when we hear from the family and how they're hurting. The Chesterfield mother was last seen by her friends at her home on the 2100 block of Rowanty Court late Saturday night on October 3rd, 2020, according to police. Her black four-door sedan was found abandoned and on-ramp to I-95 in Prince George County a few days later, investigators said. She wouldn't have walked away. She has two beautiful children, so the unknown of what happened to her, that's the worst part, said her dad. Moore's family said she is kind, bubbly, loving person, which makes the mystery of her disappearance all more painful. I think about you every day, Lucinda said to her daughter through tears. We just want her back, good, bad, or indifferent. Hope for the best. The Jordans said some family members travelled from out of state to attend Sunday's celebration and remembrance event. While few details are publicly known about what happened to Moore, it is clear her family will not rest until they know where Jasmine is at. Just to let her know wherever if she's at, that she is not forgotten, that we love her. She's still in our lives. That's why I wanted to do this. We'll continue to do this every year until she returns. I know some way, somehow, you're going to come home to me because we miss you. Anybody that knows anything about her, please call somebody, she said. Chesterfield police released photographs of her black Ford found abandoned on Monday, the 5th of October. Lieutenant Brad Connor said a Prince George County officer spotted the car on the northbound on-ramp of Interstate 95 near exit 45. There were no keys in the vehicle, Connor stated. We've looked through it and are trying to see if there's anything in the vehicle that may lead to her whereabouts. Moore is described as 5 feet 8 inches tall, 180 pounds, and she has black hair and brown eyes. Chesterfield police said Moore's case remains active. Anyone with information about her whereabouts should contact Chesterfield County Police Department, and that's the number we've got going on the screen. Annie Hall says maybe a road rage. Well, it could have been, but that, like you say, it doesn't explain where she is. Corey says it's on Twitter. She left home at 10:40 p.m. So what did it say here about when she was last seen? Yeah, so it doesn't actually say the time. I'm trying to show some comments, but StreamYard's being a dick. Autumn says, the two things I found were on her Facebook page. In February last year, she said, when I disappeared, don't nobody come looking for me. In hindsight, that's a bit scary. That is a bit scary. February last year, she said. That's very, very interesting. Kimberly says, I wonder if her car was out of gasoline and someone told her they would take her to get some. That's a possibility. There was no mention of whether there was gas in her car or not. Little Pookie, thank you so much for the super sticker. You just don't know how much it means to me and helps me do things on the channel. Yeah, I spend a lot of my own money that I don't have on the Facebook page and the YouTube channel. And when people donate, it just warms my heart. Yeah. Okay, where are we going? Her last post was a shared picture about how men cheat and we keep coming back to them. Not sure if that says something about what's going on in her life. Oh, that's very interesting. Thank you for finding that. On the Rock said, I doubt she wrote that. Well, I guess you have to go to a Facebook page and find out. Anna with the $3, thank you so much. It's appreciated. Autumn Falls says, also, she said she was separated from her partner. Okay, interesting. So we read one article and there is another one. So we'll go and look at this one. It might have much of the same info, but it might say a couple of other things. It's been 1 year since Jasmine Moore was reported missing, and the fate of the Chesterfield mother remains a mystery. Moore was 24 years old when friends said they last saw her on October 3rd at her home. Moore's parents said when they had not heard from their daughter, they quickly knew something was wrong. No contact with her friends, me or him, or sisters or brothers. Something isn't right, and I just want my child back, safe and unharmed. Moore's mother, Lucinda Jordan, told CBS after the disappearance. She described her daughter as happy, bubbly, and kind. Chesterfield police again released the photograph of her car that was abandoned, and apparently it was a police officer that came across it. There were no keys in the vehicle. We've looked through it and are trying to see if there's anything in the vehicle that may lead to her whereabouts. She's described as 5'8" tall and 180 pounds. She has black hair and brown eyes. Police had no new information to provide when asked for an update on the investigation. So very, very sad. Very sad. Go through some of your comments. Come on, StreamYard. I just paid a shitload of money to you today so I could do this. So bloody do your job. It's not coming up. It's pissing me off. Autumn says she wrote the bit about going missing. The other, she shared a picture with those words. Right. Do you have a link for a Facebook page? I could probably check. I wondered about that. But Julie, if you just go into Facebook, there's search buttons, and if you put in her name, something might come up. On the rocks and the soil, they don't look for me. Come on. This thing is just doing my head in. Autumn Falls, I'll take anything from Facebook with a grain of salt, but it's something. She's under J. Lina. Okay, awesome. And I thank you for helping get the word out. Yes. She can't find it. Autumn says, I got the info about her Facebook from Web Sleuths. Not sure if I can share links on here or not. Autumn Falls, yes, you can put links on here if you're a mod. You can go ahead and put it there. Anna says it's sad. I wonder if weed is legal there. Well, it's not bloody legal here. I know that much. So that's really all we have on this one. But keep an eye out in the news, guys. If anything pops up about this case, we could really look back into it. But there's not a lot, unfortunately. So I'm going to close off Jasmine for the moment, because we had another case that we were going to cover. So this was the next case that we were going to cover. It's the disappearance of Anthony Dean Richards. I'll let you know he's been missing since the 8th of the 19th of the 8th, so August the 19th in 2020. He's classified endangered missing. He's from Redding, California. Male, white, he's 35 now, 5'10", 120 pounds. Still, I don't know what that means in kilos. Distinguishing characteristics. He is a Caucasian male, black hair, hazel eyes. Richard's nickname is Tony. He has his gauged piercings in his ears, so those big round things in his ears. He has the following tattoos. He has a multicolored full sleeve on his left arm, a design on the center of his chest, the word NorCal. I don't know what NorCal is, Northern California or something, on his neck, and Jason Voorhees mask behind his right ear. Photos of some of his tattoos are posted with this case summary. Anna, you talked to the cops in Redding, California today? Did you get any information? Okay. Richards was last seen in Redding, California on August the 19th, 2020. He went missing after dropping his fiancée and child off at Sacramento International Airport. They were on the way to New York City to live, and Richards planned to join them in a few days. After he left the airport, he didn't make it back to Redding, arriving at 1 a.m. He was supposed to go to Crescent City, California to go fishing with his younger brother on either August 21st or 22nd, one last time before he moved across the country. He never arrived in Crescent City and also never picked up his last paycheck from his employer at the Woodside Grill. He has never been heard from again. Now, surely, if someone doesn't pick up their paycheck, it's a bit of a mystery. He was 5'10" at 120 pounds. Several days after his disappearance, Richard's aunt found his vehicle in a parking lot in the boat ramp area at Lake Redding Park. It was locked. There was food inside it, which his aunt thought had been left there as recently as the night before she found the car. There was no sign of Richards at the scene, and a search turned up no indication of his whereabouts. He is considered missing under suspicious circumstances, and his case remains unsolved. Now, I'm just going to change that number that's going across the bottom of the screen, because this is the number to call if you know anything else about this case. So, let's read your comments so far. Yeah, Anna says, I did talk to the cops in Redding, California today. Someone's saying he's skinny. Anna says, yep, a small search. They went down the river. 54 kilos, and it was 5'10", I think, nearly 2 meters. His car was confusing too because it was at a park. I think we'll try and bring up the park in that in a minute. Autumn says, I think it was a boat ramp. Yeah. Slow motion. Hey, good to have you here. Autumn says, I'm worried about him being in the water. They wouldn't tell me if he owned a canoe or went for a hike to Mount Shasta. A small search, I think, just the cops. All right. So let's move on with a couple of other places that I've managed to get some information. Some of it's the same information, but some of it is helps as well. So obviously pictures here. This here is the same stuff I just read out. apparently up to $2,000 for information leading to the arrest or conviction of the suspects. To see circumstances, Anthony Richards was engaged to be married on the 19th of August. He dropped his fiancée off at the Sacramento airport and was supposed to drive to Eureka to see family before driving to New York to live with his fiancée. Anthony went to Lake Reading Park boat ramp area for unknown reasons. It is unknown what happened at the boat ramp, but he was never seen or heard from again from any of his family or friends. His disappearance is suspicious. Okay, and then we have stuff down here about how much he posted on social media. So he posted quite a bit on the 19th, about 11 posts. Anthony's first post started quite early after taking his family to the airport. It appears he posted about a farewell dinner he enjoyed with a couple of friends that evening with his last post at 11:44 p.m. Just looking at the posts from the 19th, Anthony appeared to be someone who wanted to spend some time with relatives and friends before leaving for a 3,000-mile drive to meet up with family to start a new chapter in his life. Okay. What do you guys think? So if I bring up Google Maps, give me maps. I want Google Maps. Should we first try and, if I try and show you where Reading, California is for those who don't know. If you're a Kiwi, Reading, how big is it? Must be that. Have a look. Come on, computer. I need a new computer. Just saying. Okay, so that's where it is. We'll just go in closer here. Because we're going to be wondering about where he went. He was parked in the back of the parking lot. Was it near a boat ramp? I swear I remember something about a boat ramp. His mum's 62 is Karen from Crescent, California. Has 3 posts on Facebook. Yeah, I've seen his dad on Facebook too. Just parked, but food was left in the locked car. So, where did they say they went? The Lake Reading. So maybe let's see what comes up. Come on, computer. Come on, computer. Okay, there is a Lake Reading boat ramp. Doesn't really give us where it is. And this thing's in the way. Go away. Should I just try to find it on here? No, that's not it. I'm not having much luck. So they said it was that. Okay, let's try this. All right, let's see if we can figure this out. Does that help? Not really. Not that one. It says the Lake Reading boat ramp is around here somewhere. Okay. All right. Seems like there's a lot of boat ramps and stuff, but yeah, we've got the one. There's a boat ramp, but he wasn't close to it. It's like a fish canoe spot. Am I right that the boat ramp is on the Sacramento River? Yep, it is. It looks to me that it's called Lake Reading for a short stretch. It looks like maybe he got out to stretch his legs. Yeah, maybe. He was a cook. Was the food like snacks or groceries? They never said, but I think I've got another article to read. I don't know why I asked the cops about him having canoe. Do you know what? And I'm not laughing at you, honey, but when you said canoe before, I was like, huh? Why'd you ask if we had a canoe? That's a bit weird. We have our moments, so don't worry about that. Anna, the population is 91,000. Okay, there's a few people. I wonder if something happened when he visited his friends, if they were the last ones to see him. Just in the parking lot near the boat ramp. Yeah. He was going to drive to New York 3,000 miles away, so he had money. Very true, he did have money. Did he go out there just because this was a place that he liked and he just wanted to sit out there and have some free time and think about this big move and stuff like that? And he says, hard to guess what may have happened when we know so little of his life. Yes, yeah, I agree. Would there be CCTV from the fast food place he got food? Well, that's definitely not something that they have mentioned. This is missingpersonsofamerica.com. Tony Richards goes missing after dropping family off at airport. Anthony Richards, 34, from Reading, has been missing since August 20. He was last seen dropping his fiancée and child off at the Sacramento International Airport. The plan was for them to move to New York City, and his fiancée and child left first, and he was to join them in a few days. He drove back to Reading and was supposed to go fishing with his brother on Saturday in Crescent City, but he never showed up. He also failed to show up to work at the Woodside Grill or to pick up his paycheck, and he didn't show up at a pre-planned family meeting. He has not been on social media. We expected him in Crescent City Saturday to go fishing with his brother. All his fishing gear is still at his residence, said his mum. His car was found by his Aunt Wendy at Reading Park in a parking space. The doors were locked and food still inside from what she believes was the night before. I've got a couple of maps there to say where he might have gone. Anthony is described as a white man standing 5 foot tall, 5'9" tall, weighing 155 pounds, with black hair and hazel eyes. He also has tattoos. And on this one, there's lots of pictures of his tattoos. If anyone knows, please call the Reading Police Department. You know what? I don't understand how people can just go missing half the time. And sometimes you never find them either. It's just so sad. Anna says he's handsome. He is. He is. Julie, I only found 7 articles or videos, yours included. You can either email them to me, or you can tell us about them in the chat, or you can actually come on here and tell us about them. You don't have to show your face, but you can chat with me about the articles that you found. It's up to you. Annie says maybe drug deal gone wrong. Again, not knowing. Yeah. I'm still wondering about the water. It's a huge river, so he could get caught in it and travel far away. Annie says, yes, very sad that some people can literally vanish without much of a trace, especially with all the CCTV, etc. these days. Absolutely. And the amount of Americans, if we go to, I'm just going to look something up. I've got some stats for you, which will be interesting to look at. So this is from NamUs. So 600,000 individuals go missing every year in America. 4,400 unidentified bodies are recovered each year. Fortunately, many missing children and adults are quickly found alive and well. However, tens of thousands of individuals remain missing for more than 1 year, what many agencies consider cold cases. It is estimated that 4,400 unidentified bodies are recovered each year, with approximately 1,000 of those bodies remaining unidentified after 1 year. That's pretty scary. And here, it looks like you can get your state and you can see how many missing persons, resolved cases are in your area, how many unclaimed bodies there are, unidentified persons. Yeah, crazy. Pam says, TJ, I don't know if I can hang. My head is pounding, but thought you'd like to know my surgery was a negative result in the mass cancer-free, but heavy lingering for the next 6 months. Pam, I'm so glad. I'm so happy. Please go away and have a rest, get that headache under control. Thanks for being here. You're an integral part of this community, and I love you very much. So please go and take care of yourself. Yeah. Anna says they canoed the river cops. Oh, okay. Did she say if they had campsites near the area? I didn't see that at all. Autumn says, from what I've seen, Kimberley Emmett was a day use area. Oh, I went through the unidentified list in California. I bet there's heaps in there. Absolutely. Annie says, T-Rex, poor you, but congrats on being cancer-free. Yeah, congrats. We all wish you the best. That's for sure. Okay, love you. I love you too. Okay, so there's a couple of things that we've gone over today. I thought that we would go back to Brian Enton's Twitter and see if we've got some information, anything new. On the rocks. On the rocks and in the soil, it seems to be the couple moving, and this happens. It's not a coincidence. Was there some hidden threat? It seems to be the couple moving in this. So I don't understand actually what you're saying. Sorry about that. Jerry Dean YouTube, the Skylit Spot reading Matt Brandon Twitter. Okay. Skylit Foundation. Reading Matt Brandon on Twitter. Okay, well, I'm on Twitter, so let's search this. Matt Brandon. You've done great. Julie. You've done more than me to find this stuff. Matt Brennan. So is it the Matt Brennan one that I type in? Like that. Let's push enter and see what happens. So he's a local news reporter. I'm not quite sure what's going on. Oh, right. I think we're in. Yeah, I don't Twitter much. I've only just started Twittering too. Just seeing if he's got any information on here. We've got a lot of fires happening. What's this about? Cold cases that Julie says, I don't Twitter. Well, you found this all right, so you did really, really well. Okay, are you interested in hearing these ones? These are unsolved murders and when they're moving across country. Yeah, so he took the fiance and the kid to the airport at Sacramento and then left them there, and then nobody heard anything. He was supposed to hook up with his brothers for one last fish before he left on the drive to go and meet his wife and that. But no one ever seen him again. So, and he says, I think on the rocks means that Tony and his fiance were moving to New York, and then this happened at the same time. So do you guys want me to read these? It was at the time, so can a search be done? Don't know. I think with Cash and Friends Up All Night might have just ended up bad. Yeah, what was he out there for? His family said that they have no idea why he was out there. It was a random, and he didn't have fishing gear with him, so it's not like he was going out there to fish. But maybe he was going out there to catch up with someone. Maybe he was there, this is just speculation, maybe he was there to get drugs before his trip, and something went wrong. Just, yeah. All right, so 6 Reading cold cases that remain unsolved in 2021. Even with modern detective work and DNA analysis, some crimes are still too tough to solve quickly. When police run out of active leads, the case turns cold. According to the Reading Police Department, the city has 6 cold cases stretching back 45 years, 5 of which are homicides. From most recent to oldest, here's an overview of the cases police are trying to crack. The list below includes only City of Reading cases handled by Reading Police, not cases from other parts of Shasta County. If you recognize a case and believe you may have some relevant information to share with authorities, you can call Shasta County Secret Witness or Reading Police. And I should be able. Autumn says, oh gosh, your accent got me there. I totally heard 6 and not 6. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. Aussies are worse at it, I tell you. Okay, this is the number. The first one is the disappearance of Courtney Nathan Jones Botter. It has been nearly 9 years since Jones Botter, who also goes by Court Jones, vanished. He was 23 at the time of his disappearance in 2012 when he called his mother for a ride and was nowhere to be found when she arrived, according to RPD. Police investigated dozens of leads and interviewed several people but haven't been able to find him. Reading Police and the California Attorney General have his case labelled as missing person rather than homicide. He's described as a white man, 6'1", with a tattoo of a cross and armor on his left shoulder. A reward of up to $9,000 has been offered for information to help him. Very, very sad. Very young, 23. Goose. Hey, Goose. Goose says might have been settling debts before moving. Yeah, could have been. Absolutely. And he says, Autumn, we don't have accents. Everyone says they don't have an accent, but people tell me I do. And some people have even been so rude as to say they don't like it. But, that's okay. I can't change it. Judy says, is there a Reading serial killer that we don't know about? Hey, who knows? The next one, Myrna Lynn Spuler. In November of 2000, police said Spuler, 35, was shot inside her Cheryl Drive home during what appeared to be a robbery. Officers said her boyfriend had called 911, saying 2 masked men broke in and attacked them. Police said Spuler was shot once in the chest and died in a local hospital. 1 year after the shooting, police said her boyfriend, Bob Netherland, was the focus of their investigation after possible inconsistencies in his story. Police noted the evidence against him was largely circumstantial and a gun was never found. Netherland maintained his innocence and died in a 2005 motorcycle crash. Prosecutors say they had planned to charge Netherland with the murder later that month. As of 2021, the case remains cold. Well, obviously it remains cold because he died, unfortunately, and before they could lay charges. Anna says, I wonder how many tattoo shops are in Reading. I know here we have them everywhere because I am covered in tattoos. I try and get them regularly. And we have a lot. Autumn Falls, Reading has a population of 90,000 plus, so there's probably a fair number. Absolutely. Yes, maybe he had a party night with friends that night and OD'd. Friends panicked and dumped his car in the park. That's also a possibility because there's just nothing. There's nothing to go on. So, okay. Let's go on to the next one. In February of 1994, Mayon 20 and Sullivan 41 were found dead inside their home on Lima Road. Police said the two, who were friends and roommates, had invited people over to help plan a funeral for a third roommate who had recently died of a heart attack. The guests came over and became suspicious when they saw Mayon's 11-month-old crawling inside, even though no one was answering the door. Oh, that's awful. Police said the two had been shot and ruled out the possibility of a murder-suicide. An RPD lieutenant said there was a strong chance the killings were drug-related. Despite numerous interviews, the case eventually went cold, according to police. Isn't that awful, seeing the parents dead or two people dead and that little baby's crawling around in the house for who knows how long with a couple of dead bodies? Yeah, that's awful. Anna says there isn't that many in the big cities here, like maybe 2. I think you're talking about tattoos. So why is he considered endangered missing? Doesn't that usually indicate health issues? I actually wondered why they did that too, but it didn't say why he was endangered missing. But that's a good point. As far as tattoos go, I'm actually thinking of getting because on this side of my neck I have a word that says unbreakable. And I actually want to get something really big, like a really big, beautiful flower on this side. It's just the money thing. It costs money. So, yeah, this one's awful. Okay. In October of 1983, police responded to Generis Realty Co. on Market Street. Inside, they found Generis, 63, as the apparent victim of a homicide. Police said she was strangled in her office with a cord. The next month, police asked the public for any information regarding a young white man with dark hair, a mustache, and possibly a beard doing maintenance work at business at the day. She was a feisty businesswoman who frequently filed lawsuits and wrestled the city and county governments. Miss Generis may have been the victim of a mystery figure seen painting on her roof and then arguing with her the day she was killed. That was from 1985 Record Searchlight article. Despite hundreds of interviews, Reading police have failed to come up with a suspect. Well, it's a bit interesting, isn't it? That's what stopped you getting from more tattoos? Money. There's all sorts of things we can do now, like layby.com and all of that, so you can pay it off over 6 weeks and that. But, you know, if you're going to get a decent sized tattoo and you want good work, then you're going to have to pay a lot of money for it. Anna says, I'd like to be able to cover mine up. You never know about work. Actually, I'm really lucky because I work in a professional health setting in an office and I see clients and that. And they are not concerned about my tattoos. And I actually said to my manager, how many tattoos can I get before you fire me? And she said, none. She said 1,000. Don't worry about it. So, yeah, as long as they're not outrageous ones, I think. Anna said, I like to be able to cover mine up. Yeah, you really got to ask around. If you're going to get a tattoo, ask your mates, look at their tattoos and their tattooists and see what they've done and get some reviews that way. How do we get on to talking about tattoos? I don't know. I'm old enough, wish I didn't have any. I don't know how old you are. I'm 40-ish and I'm still doing it. Anna says you can buy a kit for $40 with inks and all. That's right. Yeah, you can, but you got to be able to have the skill to do a tattoo. It's not as easy as just buying the kit and doing it yourself. You've got to have a really steady hand, and you've got to be quite an artist to do it for the most part. A lot of my tattoos are from home kits, so I can't say so much. Julie says, okay, thanks. I didn't even think about that. I've just been putting it all into my new home at the moment next year. Oh, about the layby.com. The guys both have tattoos. Tattoos are very common these days. Okay, let's move on to another story. Carrie May Crow. In September of 1980, Crow's body was found in her Oxford Lane home. Crow, who was 73 or 74 at the time, had been stabbed about 20 times and strangled, according to officials. At the time, police said they were considering hypnotizing a man who lived with Crow to see if he may have repressed any information about the incident. Police struggled to come up with a motive for the killing, according to the Record Searchlight archives, despite numerous interviews. The case went cold. And in 1980, I guess they didn't have like DNA and all that sort of shit. It would have been. Julie says mine would look like a toddler did it. I've done a little bit of my own, and I thought I was really good, but nah, I'm not. Thought it was lovely for Gabby's brother to have his tattoo done by Gabby on his ankle. Will be so special for him to have that from her for life. So Gabby's brother, or some of her family, one of her family, bought her a tattoo kit. And before they went on their adventure, Gabby actually did a little tattoo on her brother's ankle and he's going to have that forever. So that's going to be really, really special. And then along with that, all the family got Let It Be tattooed, because that was one of Gabby's tattoos, and that's a really special thing to do as well. No computers like now. Yeah. But you never know with the technology, the way it goes. Okay. Lynn Ray. In July of 1976, police investigated a murder near the Clear Creek Bridge on Highway 273. Ray, 15, was found, so she was 15, was found in the creek with multiple stab wounds, according to RPD. And the hours before her death, police said she may have been seen with a man said to be in his 40s. In 2013, Reading police reopened the case, hoping new leads and DNA technology would help identify a suspect. In 2018, although highly skeptical, Reading police reached out to prosecutors in the Golden State killer case to see if there was a possible connection. Wow. The case remains cold, according to their website, and a reward of up to $5,000 is offered for information leading to the arrest of the culprit. Oh, okay. Why Gabby and Brian's tattoos matched. So, what do you want to discuss? Anything? If one of you guys want to come up here and have a chat with me and talk about one of the cases, perhaps Gabby Petito, you don't have to show your face. You can be anonymous, but you can definitely come up if you want to have a chat about Gabby Petito and old dickhead Brian. The girl had a 5K reward on Twitter. Right. So what did you think of not only going over Gabby's case, but having a look into a few other cases as well? Oh, yes. Donald Wells is going to be on ID channel tonight. But I also heard that John Walsh was going to be on ID tonight at 9 p.m. talking about Gabby Petito's case as well. So I'm not sure. And that's 9 p.m. in America time. So I'm not sure. Always interesting looking at other cases. Yeah, it is. Julie says, we're all shy, but yes, research anytime. So if you don't want to come up in here and talk, that's just fine. So I'll put my email somewhere. My email down there is nzmissing@gmail.com. And if you guys have cases that you come across that you think that we could go over on a live and check out, you can just email me the information and let me know, and we can do some research on a live. I have no problem doing that. I don't know what you guys thought about sort of looking into it yourselves, what you thought about it. You know, did you enjoy doing research and everything like that? Missing for a few weeks now, Annie says. Kimberly says, I had to step out for a minute. Have you heard about the little girl missing in Hawaii? No, I have definitely not heard about that. Do you know her name or anything like that? On the rocks, got to go. Blessings, lady. Hey, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. So Kimberly said, I had to step out for a minute. Have you heard about the little girl missing in Hawaii? Should I Google it? Missing girl in Hawaii. Julie, you really enjoyed doing research? Okay, someone said a little girl missing in Hawaii. Little girl missing in Hawaii. Okay. Okay. I think I've got it. Police suspend search for missing 6-year-old girl in Hawaii. Isabella Kalulua, 6, went missing on Sunday, September the 12th. The search for a missing 6-year-old in Hawaii has been suspended a week after she went missing. Isabella Kalulua was last seen at home in Waimanalo, Oahu on Sunday, September the 12th. The Honolulu Police Department said in a previous news release the search for Isabella, which included local authorities, the FBI, and volunteers, was suspended on Monday. The Honolulu Police Department did not immediately respond to people's request for comment on the state of the search. While the search has been suspended, the police investigation into Isabella's disappearance continues. A vigil was held for Isabella, whose birth name is Ariel Sellers. Isabella was adopted by Sunny and Lahua Kalua within the last year after being in their foster care. The couple reportedly changed her legal name from Ariel Sellers to Isabella Kalua, her biological family told the outlet. The attorney for them told the Star Advisor that Isabella had a history of leaving the house at night to sleep in the yard. Sunny and Lahua believe she wandered off or was abducted, their attorney said. Sunny and Lahua reportedly woke up on the morning on Monday, September the 13th, to find Isabella missing and immediately called the police at 6 a.m. The pair withdrew Isabella from kindergarten in June. A spokesperson for the Department of Education told People on Friday. Over the past 2 years, she has had 2 serious injuries investigated by child welfare services, but it was determined not to be mistreatment. Isabella's biological family has been desperate for answers and grew wary over the past week of searching for her, her Aunt Lina told KITV last week. She said, as time goes on, we could end up breaking down. We're all tired. We're all worried. It's hard. It's really hard. We're trying to hold on as much as we can, she said. Think positive. That's all we can do is think positive and keep going and going until we hear something. Authorities believe Isabella, who has brown hair and brown eyes, was likely wearing a black hoodie, black leggings, colourful socks, and Nike slides when she disappeared. That's very, very sad. She's just a young girl. That kind of reminds you of the Summer case, doesn't it? Autumn says, I enjoyed it. Might need more time next time since life is busy. I understand that. Michael Goldbond. Is that someone that's missing, Anna? Who has the mind of an 8-year-old? I'm a bit lost. So, how do you guys feel like? Do you want me to pick a couple of names that you can go away and do some research on? Someone else posted it, said Anna. Is this something you guys want to do again? Pick a couple of names of people that are missing or what, and next time I'm on, have a look at them. And I also want to know from the Facebook side if this suits you, if you'd give a shit about my live streams. So let me know. I want people to let me know in the comments what they think. Trying to make it an interactive where we all talk about cases and look up for cases and stuff like that. I don't know how it's going to go all the time, but I enjoy it. So why not? So let's go to the Charlie Project. And let's pick a couple of names. It's just there's just so many. There's just so many. It's insane. So this is just the 2020. Okay, I've clicked on something. All right, let's look at this guy, Jackie Wilson. There's very little information for him at all. So it would be really, really good if we could find some information about what happened, because as far as details go, Wilson was last seen in Cleveland, Ohio on July 24. He has never been heard from again. Few details about the case. Okay. Annie says Najib Monsif, 20-year-old autistic boy. Okay. So we can look for that. Right, let's pick a lady. Julie says, loving it because it's so interactive. After getting the names out, I'm going to have to go. It's okay. I didn't know I was on Facebook. I was trying to find that girl. I scrolled down. It said I was live. There's not many people here from Facebook. Kimberly says, your live streams are a blessing. God bless you for... Gold bless you? I mean, God bless you. I know a couple of people in Cleveland. I'll share this case with them. Anna says, Ohio is more violent than Chicago. Okay, so we're looking here. Now, this is not much details either. So, Amy Torres. So, have you got those names, guys? So, Amy Torres. She went missing July 10, 2020. So that's one to look up. Also, a guy called Jackie Wilson. There's very little information about him. And the last one was one that someone put up. Najib Monsif. And this is 20-year-old autistic. Okay, so there's three names there. And I will come back. What's today? What's today over in America and what's the time? Can I have that? Does anybody know that for me? Currently, it's 12:48 in the afternoon here on Thursday. So we'll give you a couple of days. Maybe I'll come on Thursday, Friday, Sunday, New Zealand time. I will come on. I will have the live sort of sitting there waiting. But I'm going to go. Thanks, guys. I always love talking to you guys and have such a great time. Please put in the comments whether you think that you like it when we split it and do YouTube. Also, Facebook. It costs me a lot of money to be able to stream to both. So it's not something I'm going to do all the time if people don't like it. What day? Anna said today is Thursday here. So I'll put it up anyway, and you can have a look at it, and I'll give you the date for you guys. Should be Saturday for NA. I'm working on Saturday, so I can't do it on Saturday. All right, but I will put a post up saying when the next live is going to be. Everybody look for these cases, and let's see what we can find, and let's get some information out for them, because we want to try and get as many cases that should be talked about in the media. Thanks for your donations. Bye, Julie. Thank you, Froze Moments. He says, great and knowledgeable stream. Thanks for your research. No worries. All right, guys, I'm going to see you on Sunday. Thank you so much for any donations. It's amazing. Helps me immensely. Take care, everyone. Thank you for an interesting and respectful chat. Little Pookie, always respectful. Bye, everyone. Autumn, see you later. Anna, see you. Annie, bye. Just love you guys. Thank you so much. And we'll see you on Sunday.